and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Jose Romero.
What up? What up? Happy Thursday. Happy Nerd Day.
Happy Nerd Day,
Usual
man.
time slot. Very exciting times.
We got a lot of stuff that's coming in. A lot of anticipation of stuff that's coming through, which is nice.
A movie that came out, I don't know if you even heard about it. I didn't hear about it the other day. Something called Batman. I think something like Batman. I don't know. Something came out this week. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, but people seem to be excited about that.
Deflator Mouse, I believe it's called. It's Deflator Mouse. It's a German movie.
Bingo.
It's a German movie about how a man's obsession with darkness leads him to become almost in a Philip K. Dick novel of Metamorphosis, becomes a creature of the night, not a vampire per se, but the elements of the guano making creature known as the Dark Knight.
What you say that name? Yeah, dude, everyone should be excited. It's like big weekend. Of course, I got to see it last Sunday. I saw it twice. And Eric is still pending the first watch.
Saw it twice. Wow. Wow. That is like, hey, dude, I banged your mom. Dose. Like, I don't need to know how much you were. Like, don't desecrate me that way, dude.
What can I tell you? It is what it is.
You're a mean man. You're mean.
The review is up. Very.
The non-spoiler review
is up, of course. I know Eric, watch it on Sunday, so we'll probably spoil the shit out of this next week.
Yeah, we're gonna go heavy hard.
People should be excited. People are excited. It's gonna make a bunch of money. Of course, the reviews have been pretty positive for the most part across the board.
Runtime 240, 250. What's it at exactly?
The runtime, I think it was 245 without credits.
245 without credits.
You don't have to see it. There's nothing after the credits. It's like this small little thing, but it's like words, something on the screen. It's not actually a scene.
Oh, so it's more like a gameplay of
exactly.
like.
So don't bother. I mean, you can, but whatever. It's just 10 minutes of your life back.
Sure.
But whatever. Either way. But look, the reviews are good.
I'll wait for the Blu-ray.
Or streaming or whatever when it comes out on HBO Max. But yeah, listen, there's a lot of positive buzz on this one. We actually did. I forgot we did this. I had written down here. We did because we did three movies that we did Price is Right on.
Correct.
So you had 90%, I had 88%. It was hovering around there for a while, and I think now it's at I had it here and I lost it. 84%. It's at positive. Yeah, obviously 84%.
But did we say critic review or fan or audience
critic.
review?
It was a critic.
Oh, wow.
The fan we don't know.
So, I was shooting for 90. I remember that.
It started like a 94, 95. I think that's gone down. It's like over 200 reviews. It's always bound to come down. So yes, I got. Sure. You think you won last time, so I won this time. 88, so I was closer. So we got Doctor Strange coming up, which I think I'm gonna lose, but whatever. I went too low on Strange. I had 77. Yeah,
I know. I felt very confident.
Yeah, if I win that one, that's not a good sign for Doctor Strange.
What I said was what I was going to be like an 88.
You had 92. I had 77 on Strange.
Oh,
and then
okay.
we got Morbius. I got 60. You got 68. So that one, I think I'm going to win that one. So,
yeah, I think you might win the Morbius one, but I'm pretty solid on my
I'm
Doctor
pretty
Strange.
confident you're going to take it easy. I don't know why I went so low, but whatever. Either way, let's focus. Batman.
Focus on the task at hand, the first big blockbuster of 2022, superhero blockbuster.
Exactly. The movie season has now officially started with Batman. So, yeah, let's talk about it. This is the main event. Let's bring it to the beginning. Let's start big.
This is the first major DC hero movie, not only of 2022, but out of the Snyderverse. Right?
Well, I guess this is his own thing. Yeah, you're right.
His own thing, right?
Because the Suicide Squad, I guess, is still in that
still
world,
Snyder,
right?
Yeah, especially after the end of Peacemaker, they're clearly in the Snyder.
They hate Snyderverse, but they keep using it. I don't know. Whatever. This is its own world, own thing, one off, whatever you want to call it.
All right, so
yeah, dude.
That being said, you're coming in 2 hours 45
minutes. Absolutely. And
seen it twice, so obviously not dog shit garbage.
No, right? Listen, I really like this one a lot. It's really, really good. And it's probably the best, not saying it's the best Batman movie, we'll get to that in a second, but it's the best version of Batman as we know from the comics. So I think you're going to appreciate that in terms of
all right,
in terms of the tone, in terms of this dark, gritty Gotham, that he gives us, this underworld and the corruption and the way Batman acts is very. Batman is very.
Is it a Gotham closer to like a Tim Burton Batman Begins, or is it a Gotham closer to like Dark Knight, where it's like just more of like city?
It's more city, but it's just the way it's shot. It's very noir, and it's very very dark. Cool. You barely see the sun.
Nice.
For that much.
Perfect.
So it's like it's shot very great. When we talked about it looking like Seven when the first trailer came out, it's exactly what this movie is. Seven, Zodiac kind of thing. So it's got that vibe, a very dark, grimy kind of film, in a good way. And Batman is very distant, and you get it's 95% Batman, 5% Bruce Wayne. So this is really Robert Pattinson, who's really good by the way, doing just Batman as
good
Batman,
for him.
Angry Batman, disassociated from humanity.
Was he a believable badass?
Oh, no,
Batman is a badass. He's got to be believable.
He really pulled it off. Kudos to him. And I was pretty confident. He's a really good actor. People know him from Twilight. I get it and whatever.
I know, but that movie he did with William Dafoe on the Lighthouse. That was really good. That surprised me a lot.
Good times and all he's done. He can cast it on Netflix. It's another. He did a lot of independent work for the most part, small films, and he's really good in everything. So I knew he was gonna come with. He is. He's very good. I liked him a lot. Listen, this is really, Matt Reeves did a good job, man. Overall, listen, there's so much good in this film. There's some bad stuff, the one thing I was talking about review. I didn't talk much of negatives. I'll do now here now, but it's the length.
Sure.
You do feel 2:45. You feel it. I do. I did it.
So anyway. It's not a brisk.
No. It feels 15, 20 minutes off would have done the movie better. Not a huge negative, but it is what it is. It's that's a long movie, dude. For any movie, it's long, and it's not. It is a lot of detective stuff, which is good, right? In terms of it leaning on the whole detective aspect, which we haven't really seen before, right? But because it's the pace is a little bit slower, so yeah, the movie will feel a little bit long. But not a huge gripe. But listen, the cast is awesome. I mean, Colin Farrell is awesome as Penguin. He really is.
Nice.
Turturro as Falcone, awesome. Batgirl, Catwoman, whatever. She stole the show as far as I'm concerned. Kravitz. Yeah,
really? All right.
She has a lot of energy, great chemistry with this guy. Nice. Jeffrey Wright was great as Gordon. And you see a lot of like him and Batman working together, like from the beginning of the movie, right? The first crime scene that they're together. Right. That's cool, right? The interaction between them.
They're very much like partners.
Exactly. Nobody wants him around, but Gordon, right? So that's a dynamic that's really cool. It looks great. Some really cool action. That car scene where we finally get the Batmobile is pretty badass. I saw a second time.
How was Dano, the Riddler?
The Riddler was really good. I liked him a lot. He was like a really good villain. Like, I thought it's a part of the movie where he kind of disappears a little bit towards the end, but he comes back. But it was one of my other gripes. But nonetheless, he's really good, man. The motivation is there, makes sense. His plan, for the most part.
He doesn't come off ridiculous because like a lot of people made fun of the suit because he feels very gimpy, but also
it fits the vibe. And this is not really a spoiler, but it opens up with him. And the tone they set with him is great. Like awesome. Oh shit, cool. I like that.
Yeah. Like this guy's real.
Yeah, he's legit. He's scary. He's creepy. Yeah, very cool. So nice. Got that. Good look. Nice. The Riddler's a ridiculous character. Let's be honest.
Right.
We see with Jim Carrey. It's just they grounded him very well. It made sense. We had the Riddler, but the Riddlers went over the top. Were silly. Just kind of like he was just kind of toying with Batman for the most part.
Cool.
But that was great. So my negatives before I let you kind of get some questions is the length. The third act. This is a problem with most movies. I think it's a studio thing. It goes a little too big, I thought.
Okay.
And it's hard to explain, but when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. I was talking to Peter, a good friend of ours. He had the same complaint. The first thing you mentioned was like, man, that third act, they could have done something different and still kept the message that I finally came to at the end, which is really good. But yeah, I was like, why they didn't quite fit with doing.
Could it be? Did it feel like
they're trying to go for something really big and something really small and intimate? Climax would have done a lot better. I'll leave it. Like it's not terrible what they gave us. It's just.
Do you think it was a studio interference situation where they're like, well, listen, in a 2-hour movie, we need to have this level of crazy ending. But if we're going to do close to 3 hours, we got to like throw an extra double of that, like just going to be super, really make it worth the while. And that's what they're
because it happens a lot. It happens in a lot of films, right? You go big. I guess the third act, right? We saw it in Shang-Chi with to his detriment. where it could
Yeah,
have,
the dragons
yeah, it
and
could have
everything,
toned it
right?
down, something like that. Batman doesn't go to that level, obviously, but I'm saying as far as
Yeah.
scaling it back a little bit, and we get the spoiler, I can get more, obviously get more specific, but that was a little bit of an issue. Um, there's this one. Okay, that can't. Be careful what I say here. Not a spoiler, but there's a scene at the end of the film
Okay.
where they show something or set up something potentially down the road, which I absolutely cringed. Surprisingly so. It was surprised to see this, and when I showed it, I'm like, oh God, if this was gonna happen in the next one, I'm out. It was
Really?
it was. I kind of wish I can really get into. When it happened,
Okay.
I asked Pete. I was like,
Right.
Peter, what'd you think about that? And a couple of friends that came with me that first time, everybody was on board. Like, dude, what was that? It was really awkward. I'm like, wow, that was really bad. So I get it doesn't ruin the movie. It's just a clip. It's just almost like a prologue, But yeah, I wish I could mention it, but it's a spoiler, so I won't do it.
Is it in the same vein as End of Batman Begins, where like some Joker's going around killing mobsters? He keeps leaving these as calling cards, and he goes, "I'll look into it." Was it in the vein of that?
Like, you didn't like that?
Oh, I thought it was
Oh
great.
no, that's good. I'm saying this was bad. I see what you said. Like
right,
the setup.
yeah. Were they trying to do their version of that?
Yes and no, maybe. Yeah, I guess
That is not an answer. That is 3 words.
I would say yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, dude, what is that? I hated it. I read like, wow. It didn't ruin the film at all. It's just something though. It was on it. It was shown at the end, so it didn't affect the story, nothing like that. But yeah, it was really bad. But listen, overall, dude, yeah, I think you're really gonna like it. I guess it's
okay.
This tone is so gritty and dark. I know people hear that, and it works for Batman. It may not work for other things, right?
Superman should not be gritty and dark. Shouldn't.
It shouldn't. I really like Zack version of Man of Steel, right? And I think
I liked it. It was not my favorite.
Batman's kind of a similar way, but it works for Batman. But I really hope Batman does what Man of Steel didn't, and that's give us a sequel where he kind of changes a little bit of his demeanor. Right?
He's got to show progression.
Right, and it seems like he is based on the end.
Right.
So, but if not, then that's one thing. Which I think Man of Steel would be even better if there was a part 2 that gave us that progression, right? Then we would have seen that growth.
Right.
Okay, cool. We just never got that. That's a different problem, different conversation for a different day.
I mean, you got Justice League. That's good enough, right? That's a good. That did the job.
Fake mustache. But either way, but nonetheless, it works for this. Some people, but I will say it's not for everybody. I got a feeling some people are not gonna like this film because it is very dark.
So people who just are naturally averted to dark films are gonna be like, I don't like it. Like the people who didn't like the Joker because it was so dark, they're probably not gonna like this.
I got a feeling, that they, the casual fan because listen, this is, as far as superhero movie goes, this is not a good superhero movie. It's a great movie, not a great superhero.
It's a great movie. It's not a superhero movie
at all. So that kind of joyfulness that people want to see and the big pops and the color, it's just not what this movie is, right? At all. So I can see people not liking it. I get it completely. That being said, I don't think you're going to have an issue with that personally. I think you probably will lean into that more because you are
very much so.
This is what Batman the comics. This is the best translation of Batman from the comics to the big screen. I'll put it to you that way. Doesn't make it the best. I'm just saying the best version of
just Batman. By the way, we can both agree that The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie on screen.
Agreed, 100%. There's no question. This
movie, just as
good as it is, it's not close to The Dark Knight. And I've seen it twice because the second time I really felt the length more. But it's still good. I still enjoyed it a lot. I was like, man, this is really good. Like, okay. I mean, I caught a couple of things in the end. I was like, but small things here and there. But it's not Dark Knight. I don't think it's as good as Batman Begins. And that's not. Wow. I'm not throwing shade at this movie. It's just those two are just better films. Right? It is what it is.
Shout outs to Nolan, keeping it better in a third less time.
I mean, this is a more truer version of Batman than what Nolan gave us.
Right.
For what it's worth, some people may like that more. That's great. You may even like that, prefer that, possibly. But it's just overall, because I think the ending to Batman Begins should have been what this third act of this was, right? Batman Begins, it didn't go grandiose to some degree, but I still kind of kept it kind of
very much in the city and just
right,
like this
just very kind
threat.
of not simple, but it was just him versus Ra's al Ghul at the end. It's just a little bit different, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Even Dark Knight, where the whole boat scene got a little bit. You can argue that's probably too much, but it was fine, right? I still like that scene.
It was like just on the edge of before it got too much.
Correct.
But that's what kept, they balanced.
This one teeters down,
right.
and maybe it goes a little beyond it.
But they hold it. They stuck the landing the whole way through. They never really faltered. They were very confident in all their moves.
Right. So, yeah. So, but again, the third act of Batman Begins is better than the third act of this one. So yeah. Okay. So I just look at the whole film overall. But look, sure, it's not light years ahead of one. Listen, if someone told me, I told you earlier, someone told me this was better than Batman Begins, I'm not gonna argue. All right, fine.
But if you said it was better than Dark Knight, you're breaking bottles
overhead. You're crossing a line. Okay. It's unnecessary. That's just
totally understand. That's all I'm just making sure.
No, it's not. And I went with two people to the premiere, and I talked to people afterwards, and I think the consensus was some people thought it was second, some people thought it was third, even fourth. But yeah, Dark Knight was still, the crown jewel, right? The benchmark for what we know as Batman, which is. It's hard because listen, and that's I guess I'm not throwing shade here because how many movies can we say better than Dark Knight in terms of comic book? Not many, if any at all.
Right.
Let's be honest. It's considered to be the top 3 of all time.
Let me ask you this, because we're I just realized the connection level of like this is a very dark movie. Could Joaquin Phoenix's Joker fit into this Batman world?
It will. It does fit. The tone is very similar to Joker. It's probably even darker than Joker, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
And just terms of look and the tone, because we still got a lot of daylight in Joker, so it's a brighter film for that reason. But I could see that Joker. It's not going to be, but I could see that Joker. You can insert him there, and it would have worked perfectly. I thought.
I mean, that's awesome. It's also a bummer at the same time. If this is as good as you're saying it is, I think somebody like Joaquin would really like flourish in that world that they're building up on.
Oh, yeah, you could have very well put him in there. And you see it when you watch it, like, I get it. But listen, really was really good. I like this. I called it a combination of Joker and Jigsaw to some degree.
Okay, fair.
In terms of what he does and how he presents himself. Because there are scenes where I think the trailers had it where it's like he's on the cell phone and he's like laughing. Right. Very reminiscent of the scene where the Joker has a guy,
the phone camera,
read the letter, whatever the case is. Very reminiscent of that. But listen, overall, dude, it's good. It's really good, dude. It's I'll say great. It's just it's just not as good as something other stuff we've seen for whatever that's worth. But individually, in the vacuum, it's great.
Really high bar.
It's a high bar. It's really hard. Any movie to pass Dark Knight superhero movie, it's just that's not easy. It's just. No easy task, and like I said, you can argue one or two maybe have. I wouldn't do an argument.
I remember people going back and forth to this day. People still go back and forth because Iron Man came out the same year as The Dark Knight, and people were like, "What's the better superhero movie?" Right. And there's some people who feel that Iron Man is a better superhero movie than The Dark Knight only because here's the thing, Batman, as you said, it's very natural to go dark and gritty with him because think about how good the Iron Man movie is without going dark and gritty, and being able to pull that off,
really good.
It's impressive. So because of that, but like I said, it's a give and take. It's like it doesn't take away for anyone's quality. You can appreciate both aspects of it, just like you said.
Different tones, right? It's like
different tones, and that tone changes everything.
It's just,
but that being said, as far as Batman movies go, Dark Knight's it is the peak right there. It's a rock, baby. That's what it is. It's just
it is. But this is. I mean, like I said, I think you're really gonna like it. Like Batman fans will enjoy it. The casual fan, I can see the ones who are having maybe a little too dark and long for them. I get it. This is Matt Reeves. His style again. It's not for everybody. It's just right. It's like Seven isn't for everybody. Right? It's just very dark film. So dude, absolutely. I can't wait to get hear what you think. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. It really. I'm kind of curious to see if you see all the issues that I didn't see or whatever, or we agree on some stuff, but. I'd be shocked if you come back and say you didn't like this movie. I'd be just totally shocked. I really would.
Fair.
But it can happen. I guess who knows? Maybe I can't see that. I'm not saying you jump say, oh my god, this is the greatest thing of all time. Oh, I loved it.
No. But I'm gonna be super.
I think you're definitely. At worst, you're gonna like it. At worst, like it was good. Like that's the same thing. At worst, you say.
And that's cool. I could totally, right. I could tell you that I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to talking to you about this. Looking for other people, and then letting you find out what other people thought about it as well. You have the conversation, so I can prove you wrong. So that'd be fun.
How much money is gonna? I'm kind of curious how much money this will make.
Do you want to take a bet on that one?
Boy.
Sort of like our prediction, our Price is Right on that.
Why not? I'll do
opening weekend. Opening weekend, 3 days, Friday through Sunday. What's going to be the over-under on this?
See your box office. It sucks because the Tuesday and the Tuesday, these first few numbers won't count towards the weekend.
No, yeah, you got to count from Thursday.
That being said,
from Friday,
right,
Saturday, Sunday.
I'm going to go 125.
That's big. I'm going to go
actually
112.
112, okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna go high. I mean, it's not gonna be as high as like Spider-Man, but again, that's a different movie.
Are we doing U.S. or global on that?
U.S. Because because I'm not sure. I don't know if it's releasing on market or not. You know how it is. International, it's always weird. It's always staggered sometimes. The releases.
I'm just domestic. That apparently this movie's so good that they've banned it from going to Russia as penalty for for Russia attack Ukraine. So like you don't get to enjoy, or we get to enjoy
Ukraine
in your face.
Ukraine is
so
weak.
That is
stupid Russians. So, but yeah, all right. So yeah, 125 to 112. Okay, yeah, I think it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's, obviously they'll probably greenlight a sequel soon enough. I'm kind of curious how the crowd reacts. It really would. This could be a kind of Man of Steel thing. Might be too dark for the casual fan.
Possibly. But who knows?
But it's great, so I can't wait for you to watch it. That being said, let's stay with this because there's a bit of news coming out of this, which you'll appreciate more once you see the movie. We all knew that there was going to be a Penguin spin-off on HBO Max, right? A show. And
sure. I think we heard about it.
It's confirmed. It's coming out. Oh, okay. They're trying to put. I think Colin Farrell was talking about the other day, trying to push an R rating for it, and. Like now, I'm really excited for the show. After watching what he did with Penguin, I was like, "Oh man, yeah, pretty cool. I like this character a lot." So I dig it, and I think if they keep in the world of Gotham, maybe bring in Commissioner Gordon. We're not going to see. Maybe you'll see Batman like a quick cameo. I doubt it though. But Jeffrey Wright, I think a really cool kind of underground gangster kind of story. I like it. But this came out the other day, today actually, and they were talking to Matt Reeves, and he's still trying to get it. He hasn't started thinking about a sequel yet. Or even talked to Warner Bros. About that. At least what he says. It could be bullshitting. But apparently there's another series coming out. No spin-off series which he'll be involved in, probably producer, about Arkham Asylum. Focusing on Arkham Asylum.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like I said, it just dropped today. And yeah, I don't think most people knew that they were doing another show. So I guess it's like in Matt Reeves' world. He's doing his own Reverse, if you will.
It's the Reeves-verse.
So he's doing his own thing on HBO. And that's great because HBO, you can go really dark and who gives a shit. We've seen what Peacemaker did. Fuck it. Rated R. Like I said, trying to push Penguin rated R, which I think would be great. So yeah, this is coming out, not a whole lot of details, but he said, obviously, and he also said we'll focus on Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. But we're doing another series that connects to Arkham Asylum. And kept it very vague.
I had heard that one of the shows that we're going to do was going to be like that. There's a comic book called Gotham Central, which was about, and it just focused on the police department in Gotham.
Right.
And they had a day shift and a night shift, and they were different casts. And that's how the book was. And I heard that Jeffrey Wright's supposed to. So is the Penguin like the reinterpretation of that, or do you think this Arkham series is going to be the reinterpretation?
I'm thinking that the Penguin reads probably mixed in with that because the Penguin's not going to go against someone. It's probably against the police, the Gotham
Commissioner.
Which is why I really hope Jeffrey Wright's in it. It will make sense that he would be in it because it's not. Again, it won't be Batman. We know that. So that makes sense. But the Asylum one's interesting. Because I'm trying to think how you make a show around that. I mean,
it would be all the lower level non-commercially famous Batman villains
more likely
that you can do practical, and it's almost like a monster of the week, but it's like the psychological killer. Like you saw him a little bit in Batman Begins. There was a guy called Zaz, and the comics is called Mr. Zaz, and he's a serial killer. And every time he kills someone, he leaves a mark on his arm. He has like a tally mark count, and his entire body is covered in tally marks. Like you could do him you could do an entire season on just that guy. And so
I think it'll make sense to like an anthology series. right?
Right.
Every
Yeah.
episode, 40, 45 minutes, it's about a villain who ends up there, or they focus on that villain. I get, yeah, it has to
Or
be
a
Lauren.
villain that's
Obviously,
already
yeah,
there and is trying to break
right,
out. Like
or
you
something,
play.
or how you got whatever, right? Whatever they want to do with it, or something, some kind
Right.
of character study, and that's fine. I mean, we're not gonna see a Joker, obviously, or shit
Oh,
like that. You
right.
know, maybe I doubt it. Maybe Riddler pops in one, but yeah, I think it'd be
Right.
something like that. It's an interesting idea. I mean, I don't know if that will work. I know the Penguin will work because that's more suited for a kind of series.
It could be, the Penguin. You could almost play it as like Gotham's version of The
Right,
Sopranos.
and the way the movie left off, it like almost set up for what I think the series is going to be about. You know what I'm talking about when you see the film.
Right.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
like, okay, that's like the launching pad. Okay, now we're gonna get the Penguin doing this, and
Right.
that's cool. I think that's a good idea. Arkham Asylum, listen, it's interesting. I'm kind of curious. You know, again, I want to have Batman in it. Maybe he shows up once in the beginning. He brings in whoever, Calendar Man or some shit. I don't know, whatever. And
I
that's all
would
you
like
see. It
to
was a quick
see.
cameo kind of deal, but
I would like to see like the D-level villains that are dangerous but are so messed up you can't lean in on them a lot. Seeing them as the either, like I said, the monster of the week or the overarching villain of that, like while in there, or them hunting him or whatever the case is. Even the legal process of like having to like to get away from like their crime, they have to plead insanity. And so what it does that how does that affect someone who's just doing that to try to get out of trouble versus someone who really is crazy? I would almost like to see an episode where someone in Arkham is slowly brainwashing an employee in Arkham, and you've seen that person break under these other psychopaths. I'm gonna play you this whole time through to make you do a thing. Stuff like that would be really
yeah, it could be
fun
a
to
very
see.
interesting
So
show.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you can go a lot of different ways with it, but I think the anthology are probably the best way. You know, I think I don't see it as like a continuation kind of thing or a full story. Just who you're gonna focus on, right? I don't know.
right.
I want some of the doctors. I don't care. I don't want to see ER version of Arkham Asylum, to be honest with you.
Right.
So
I will say one cool thing. One last thing about cool thing about the Reeves verse. Online today, I saw. I'm not sure if it was like a fan casting, but Anya Taylor-Joy as Harley Quinn for the Matt Reeves verse.
I would love to see her as Poison Ivy, to be honest with you.
Really? I was kind of thinking like, oh, I kind of like see the Harley Quinn, but
Yeah, she's
Poison
got that
Ivy, I
kind
can
of
see that
look.
working too.
She's kind of that seductive look where she's not like great looking, but she kind of is.
But she looks alien too. She doesn't look quite human. She looks just
Right,
off.
that's what I
Like
think the Poison Ivy kind of, I think, will kind of fit for. I don't know for whatever it is, just some sensibility.
I think Anya Taylor-Joy
Great actress,
is a beautiful woman, great
yeah.
actress, like super talented. But she does look like what an alien thought a human would look
Oh
like.
no, yeah, there's something there that's odd about her, but at the same time, it's kind of hot. Ain't gonna lie.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I look like a Muppet who came to life. So I get it.
That's
We
fair.
all have a look.
Can't argue that. But I'll ask you this though, because I was talking to Pete about this, but this part two we're gonna get a part two on Batman, obviously sequel. We're kidding here. Me and him agree. We don't want to see a Joker. We don't.
No.
Who do you think, knowing what I told you about the film, the kind of ground level that it is and dark, who you want to see as a villain? Who do you think will make sense?
Oh, okay. Base level makes sense. A mob war between the Penguin, Black Mask, and Two-Face.
I had mentioned Two-Face. I'm with you there. And that will make sense. I know Matt Reeves actually he talked about doing something with Mr. Freeze, which
unfortunately, because here's the thing about Mr. Freeze, and no one's done Mr. Freeze better than Batman the Animated Series.
And they'll have to go that route for the most part for it to work. It can be what we see or we think Mr. Freeze is. Mr. Freeze, I would say this version of Mr. Freeze will be a guy who kills him, puts him in a freezer, that kind of thing, just very ground level. He's a serial killer.
I say the other way. This is how I would do Mr. Freeze. He's born almost like Mr. Glass has a very brittle skin. He's born that he's got to stay in cold temperatures. He can go outside, and when he comes outside, he's super cold to the touch. which also makes him like super strong and very dense. But he can only stay outside for short periods of time before he has to cool himself down again. So he literally lives like in a freezer, like a meat packing freezer, like and that kind of stuff. So, but it's just that he's almost like a big brute enforcer, not a super genius. And when he touches you, he leaves freezer burn marks on you because his skin is always so cold. But he also can't be outside for too long.
Well,
so
there's no sun in Gotham, so that'll work.
That's why he only comes out. That's why he only comes out.
Don't worry about that. I mean, it's just hard to make free. I mean, that's a real tightrope that Matt Reeves will have to kind of maneuver.
It would have to be done during the winter. Like this is like the only time he gets to make his big push is during the winter.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's an interesting choice, Mr. Free. But I think Two-Face makes sense. Maybe even
a Black Mask, not Harley Quinn's version of Black Mask, like the legit Black Mask.
That or Deathstroke is gonna get I thought of too.
Deathstroke,
like a physical.
Here's remember if you did a gang war that led to the creation of Two-Face, because Two-Face is fighting Two-Face. This is the way I would do it is that Harvey Dent has been going against these last two crime families. One of the crime families flips and says, "We'll give you the other guys. Like we'll supply you all the information you need. We just want half their territory." And think about it, that's a great deal. You get the entire crime family gone, and you're going to gain half his territory, and we gain the other half, and we part ways, and you give us a year off. Like, and because of that, it eventually the other crime family finds out this is going on. Gang war goes into overdrive. In the course of this, somebody puts a hit on like the commissioner. It goes sideways. Harvey gets caught in the crossfire, makes him Two-Face, and it's Two-Face versus the two gangs. And so the way he takes out each gang is a representative of the style. So there's one gang that he literally takes to, like, he helps the police take him down legally, and the other side he brutally murders.
Yeah,
and that's how I do
you can do a good Two-Face in this world, but let's see. First.
By the way,
let's see the first one then.
First of all, let's just be honest here. That's a great pitch, right? Was that not a great pitch? And that's why I think I'm ready to start my spin-off show, Pitch Please, where I pitch big ideas for the next sequel or reboot. I'm telling you, Jose, this is the moneymaker right here. This idea with this face. Oh my God, forget about it. This is Pitch Please, Jose. We're gonna do this.
It's you, then The Rock.
Listen. He is ketchup. I'm Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I put that shit on everything. So that's what I'm saying.
On that note. No, he's a transition out of that. We got more DC stuff, but let's go to Disney for a little bit. Let's liven things up. Let's brighten the world a little bit. Well,
let's do it.
Kind of. Not really, actually. But either way, so it's like Disney Plus, because we had talked about this last week, and I guess there was an update to the story where, it's official. I mean, it was official before that they were going to get all the Netflix shows, right? I think by the end of, it's already off Netflix, the Marvel Marvel shows, Daredevil, Iron Fist, right. Jessica Jones, etc. And they were going to go to Disney Plus on the international side only.
Right.
But I guess they're going to bring it to the U.S. as well with the caveat that it's going to have the age restriction, whatever you want to call it. Disney had a term for it, which sounded ridiculous, but whatever. It's a fucking parental guidance.
It's parental control.
You can call it whatever you want, parental control, and that's fine. So they're going to release that content, which really surprised me on that. I didn't see that coming. I mean, it sucks for those who want to see Iron Fist. It's great if you want to see Daredevil.
It sucks for people who don't want to acknowledge Iron Fist was real.
Yeah, it exists.
That's what it sucks.
They didn't have to bring that show over. They could just left that shit on the table away.
They could have saved a few bucks, and they should have brought all of Daredevil, first season of Jessica Jones, first half the season of Power Man, only second season Iron Fist, and then Defenders. And that'll be
two Iron Fists. And the Defenders was weak, but they also bring Agent Shields, which excites nobody.
Agent Shields has already been there. Like it's already there. They're not bringing anything.
That's what the announcement has. It includes Agent Shields, so whatever.
I think they're just trying to remind people Agents of Shields.
Like I said, no one cares. But guys, what if you like your show? Great. But so they bring all the shows, so that's interesting. I mean, I don't think it means anything in terms of their plans of just bringing the shows over. We don't want to have everything in house.
What they're essentially doing is, hey, we're gonna start introducing way more variants. So check out where they're
Right,
originally from.
exactly.
You get the
This is how
reference.
it
Where
is. So yeah,
that's
and the
it.
parental controls, and we might get some more mature content. I think this really means the end of Hulu eventually. They're
Sure.
bringing everything under their parental guidance thing. I think Netflix does that too. I'm not even know, but I don't worry about that shit. But either way, so yeah, so that's it for the. So they're coming down. So if you haven't seen it, whatever. And I think it's more for Daredevil because eventually, despite what Charlie Cox says, he's around the corner, so you can catch up on the
Dude,
old ones.
for sure. Look, we knew he was going to be in Spider-Man. We are 90% sure he's going to be in She-Hulk. We are 100% sure he's going to be in Echo. So I mean,
He's
yeah,
coming.
you're pot
Yeah,
committed, dude.
he's
What are
coming
you
because
doing?
he was talking about that. He had another interview besides the one where he says he's not sure what's going on, or whatever. And he was like, "Oh," and it's like yesterday or today, or yesterday or 2 days ago. Either way, he talks
Okay.
about paraphrasing, but how he thinks a PG-13 version of this could work. So we'll see what Disney, what Marvel decides to do. Okay. Said it's possible to do it, but then he also contradicts himself and says, "But I don't think that the version that we created before fits in the MCU." Like, okay, fair enough. Which I would agree with. That version of Daredevil does not fit with the MCU.
You're
It
right,
doesn't.
but I think the MCU can make space for a version like
I
that to
think.
exist. It doesn't fit in it now, but it just like the Eternals brought in a sex scene. They're like, oh, did not expect that of the MCU, but now it's there. I think you can also bring in the version of Matt Murdock from the Netflix. He goes, didn't expect it, but now here
We're
we
gonna get
are.
the watered down
That's
version. That's what I said from the beginning. This is a watered down version of Daredevil. That's all it is.
I.
That's not a terrible thing, but again,
It's a little bit of a bummer. I don't want to water it
it's gonna be
down.
watered. It's not gonna be what we got. We know
I
it's not gonna be what we got.
I
That much is clear, right? We know it's not gonna
there's
be.
two things I don't want watered down. I don't want my hardcore street level characters watered down. I don't like my liquor watered down. That's it. That's the two things. Don't water down those two things.
Yeah, we control the liquor thing as long as we pour it. But
Son
we
of a
know
gun.
Daredevil wasn't gonna water. It has to. It just does, that version of we seen. It just doesn't fit. It's not rated R. It's not rated R. It's not rated R. It's at best PG-13. But even PG-13, you're still watering it down to some degree.
If if it's PG-13, I want it to be Dark Knight level PG-13
Yeah,
because Dark Knight's PG-13. So
yeah.
give
Of
me
course it
if you're
is.
gonna
Yeah. I mean,
PG-13
you can
me,
still do.
give me
Yeah, you
that
can still do
level, or you keep
something.
it at
Yeah, you can still
PG-16.
do something like that. It just won't be R. But that being said, it's going to be toned down to a certain degree.
Yeah, but Daredevil was never R anyway. It was PG-16 at best. You know what I mean? Like it was a little harder
The
than
Netflix
13, but
version?
it wasn't an R.
No,
Yeah,
it's R, dude. Yeah,
no, they never said fuck. There was never any nudity.
it's
It's
it's R.
PG-13.
It's
It's
not even. It's not even a
PG.
question. It's R.
No, I
There was
disagree.
some language. That's the rating.
There's some language, but they never
You
said
can
fuck.
disagree with me.
They
You
never
can't
said
disagree
fuck.
with the ratings board. It is what it is.
But PG-13, at least PG-13, you get one fuck. There was never a fuck in any
I
of
don't know
the
if there was,
shows,
but just it was very graphic.
and there was never nudity. And I mean, there was a lot of blood. You actually saw the blood
Oh no,
of the
there was a lot.
killing.
Yeah, there was
That
a lot.
didn't
The
happen.
violence of that was toned up, but it just the tone of the show is very dark. It's very mature. How's that?
Well,
Like
I
like
will
MCU
say
can like
the
MCU
third season of
doesn't work like that.
the third season of Daredevil was really dark. That was great. I
No,
love
it's
that one. That was
no
really good.
the third season was great, and like Punisher's later on, that's clearly.
Yeah,
But MCU they're just incapable of doing that because they don't want to do that. They
I
just
guess
don't like
so.
they don't even want to go what this Batman just did. MCU's incapable of doing that. Good,
Oh, yeah,
good or
fair,
bad, right?
fair,
I mean, it
fair.
is what it is, and they got their vision. That's fine, nothing wrong with that at all. But that being said, so listen, for those who haven't seen the shows, yeah, it's a chance to catch up on it, I guess. Just skip Iron Fist.
Where the hell have you
Yeah,
been?
exactly.
Seriously. I mean, I'm gonna be watching because I'm a nerd. But like, what are regular people? Seriously, how did you not at least go through this when it came out? Get on that.
Yeah, it's really
Seriously.
weird. The next story. Let's go to Sony. Let's give Sony a chance
All right.
here. We'll keep them in the ground.
Fair.
So we got more Kraven news because we talked Kraven last time where
We
they
did.
cast for Chameleon,
The Chameleon,
and apparently now they cast for Calypso. You got
which I mentioned was his wife
correct.
on the last
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. So that's official now. I think what's her name? Ariana DeBose. She was in West Side Story. I never saw the movie, but I heard she's really good. But now she's cast as Calypso. So yeah, like you mentioned, that was his wife, right? Or whatever, his love interest.
That was his wife, and his wife was introduced in this really weird when they were kicking off the new Spider-Man title, just called Spider-Man, because usually it's like Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular, Sensational, blah 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 blah
Right.
blah. This one was just going to be called Spider-Man. And the first 5-issue arc, they introduced Calypso, and Calypso was the wife of Kraven the Hunter, and she was so mad that she blamed Spider-Man for Kraven the Hunter killing himself because he was obsessed with Spider-Man, that she used like voodoo magic and took over the Lizard and made Lizard a completely mindless savage monster and just sent him on a tear after Spider-Man. And so that was the first storyline. We're like, oh man, this Calypso chick's bananas. So I don't know how they're gonna work in the. I'm hoping they don't do a thing where Kraven the Hunter dies heroically, because he's. I don't want him to die heroically. He kills himself. He's a psychopath.
I don't think he'll die anyway.
But
they're trying to create a universe, not
but here's the thing: because she's into voodoo, she starts off a scientist. Right. She becomes into voodoo. They might use the voodoo to resurrect Kraven, which is what they did in the comics when they say it was Kraven's, like, not last hunt, but Kraven's return hunt or something like that. I forgot the name storyline. But they essentially use Spider-Man's blood and a bunch of voodoo magic, and they bring Kraven back to life. So if you introduce Calypso, that you're almost saying we're going to kill Kraven, but we'll bring him back. Either in the first movie or he dies in the end of the first movie, and the after credit scene is like, we're going to bring him back. And so that's right.
Yeah, I can respect that, but she's a cool character. So you know what? Yeah. I mean, this is shaping up to be interesting.
I don't have any problem with it, but I can almost see what they're planning on doing now. Before I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see what's happening.
Which is fine. So, whatever. I mean, a lot of these go a certain way. And again, if they execute it, who gives a shit, right? You know, whatever. But now, cool cast. We talked about Russell Crowe being involved in this as well. So it's shaping up to could be interesting.
Yeah. Russell Crowe's turning out to be every comic book dad. That's not Uncle Ben.
That's what I'm saying. He's a go figure. I mean, again,
Superman.
If he's playing the father, I don't know. Let's see.
Right. Well, Zeus is father to Hercules, which is a Marvel hero and an Avenger. So he's Zeus, and now he's being Kraven's dad. I mean, he's almost like
that. Who'd be like the father?
Russell Crowe is comic book dick slinging like it's nobody's business. It's really.
Daddy got the super sperm, man.
Yeah, are you not entertained? That's basically how he says it every time a child is conceived. It's crazy.
Good for you, Russell Crowe. That's what we love you, man. That's what we love the guy. The last nugget we got here, and let's end off with DC since we started with DC.
Sure.
And via Twitter, a pic was released. We talked about Batgirl last couple of weeks. Michael Keaton, involved, and now we knew Branden Fraiser, Encino Man himself, the legend, Encino
Man. Robot Man. Thank you.
He's still Encino Man before anything else.
Robot
Georgia,
Man.
Jungle to some, whatever, maybe.
How dare you?
To some, not to me. It's to some.
He's the mummy fighter, and that's it.
Encino Man.
Mummy fighter.
The guy from School Ties. There we go.
School Ties. Okay, good. Yeah.
So obviously he was playing Firefly. And we got a picture of Firefly, and I don't know, that's Branden Fraiser. It could be a stunt guy for all we know, but whatever. But yeah,
no, it's him. And okay. If you follow that Twitter thread, there's actually a video of like them pulling the stunt off, where the fire truck he's on is driving, and he's shooting fire from the sides. So you got to see a little bit of that. So it looks, I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, the costume looks old school, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Now, I have to ask this question: Batgirl. Michael Keaton's supposed to be the Batman that trains her.
I guess. Sure.
Is there going to be a Commissioner Gordon in this movie?
Well, there is. They have a picture of him. It's going to be J.K. Simmons.
It is going to be J.K. Simmons. So this is Snyderverse.
Well,
okay, cool.
Well, yeah, still.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
A little bit of Snyderverse. I mean, this comes after Flashpoint. I mean, we'll see what Flashpoint does.
Sure.
But J.K. Simmons is confirmed, and there's a picture up. He's in this film as Commissioner Gordon, so it's still, again, like this. Here we go. But I don't get it. Warner Bros. Washes their hands and just keeps getting it dirty. So whatever. It is what it is. I love Jason. I love J.K. Simmons.
Money.
Bring on more Simmons. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Fine. But yeah, it's, I don't know. We'll see.
Could we live in a world where we get a multiversal event where Jeffrey Wright and K Simmons team up as Gordon on Gordon.
That would be like that's a dream match. You know, we talk about two powerhouse guys, right?
That's the HBO Max show I want, where Gordon and Gordon are stuck in the same dimension and they got to solve a crime before the universes pull them apart again.
In the Penguin show, man. That's what I'm talking about.
That, homie, listen, HBO, why are you not hiring us? We got all the ideas.
I'm telling you, it's a great show right there. But yeah, so it is. I mean, I'm kind of curious.
It'll be called Commissioner Gordon, Black and White. And it's filmed in crime noir, so it's all blacks and whites, and you can't tell. It's great. Deconstructing the genre.
Just like that, before our very eyes. What's curious about, because we mentioned Keaton. I guess I'm kind of curious how far they take Keaton in this thing. You know, not that I mind, but I'm kind of curious, like, where are we going with him, kind of deal? Because he's obviously older. He's not gonna get he's not getting a solo film, obviously. But the
rumor is he's essentially going to be the Batman from Batman Beyond. He's going to walk around with a cane and a dog and tell her, "You got to be better."
Yeah. I'm just so curious, because there was and we didn't talk about this, but there was I guess a photo from the set, and there was a mural with Keaton's Batman, and a Robin next to him. So at some point there was a Robin in this world, or his world, or whatever.
Well, in the Snyderverse, they showed a Robin costume,
right, or whatever Robin you want to pick.
But that apparently the Joker killed. Right. So there is that there is a Robin established in this world.
Well, this is going to be we'll see how obviously Flashpoint has got some kind of influence on what's going to happen henceforth, but Keaton seems to be, I guess, the Batman du jour, in this universe, because Robert Pattinson, that's his own, Matt Reeves' own thing. I'm kind of curious, because obviously they're gonna give us another Batman in this world at some point. I assume at some point.
A young Batman. So
it's not gonna be Michael Keaton. It's not.
So all right, let's end off with this. Batgirl's costume looks awesome. Branden Fraiser, super excited. He's getting more work in the DC universe. Double compounded. Absolutely. Firefly looks cool. It's gonna be a low level fun adventure movie, because it's not the end of the world. Just there's a pyromaniac in Gotham, and we have to stop him.
Let it go.
You can wrap your brain around it. Super easy. Michael Keaton's there, so you're gonna get your fan service. Everything's exciting. Still in J.K. Rowling's Commissioner Gordon, still Snyderverse. So, question is, who would you cast to be the Snyderverse new Batman?
Oh, man. That's interesting. I'm just trying to think who would fit the bill. I mean, a lot of guys would, I guess. Years ago, I always thought about, what's this guy's name from Drive? Blonde-haired guy.
Ryan
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
I saw him.
Too short. I mean, to be fair, he's Michael Keaton.
He's Michael Keaton. They can always, you know how they go.
They can Tom Cruise him and make him
right. Tom
Cruise
can reach it, for Christ's sake. So yeah, they can. Sure. I'm sure they can fix. But he was one guy that I had thought about years ago. I'm just trying to think who. Robert Pattinson's 6'1". Okay, so he looks tall, and they're making him look taller. Yeah, they're making him look a lot taller than Batman, by the way. It seems like it.
Oh, I'm sure. But not by much, because he's 6'1", Batman's 6'5". So really, they just put 4 inches on him. Maybe it's all boots.
Ryan Gosling's 6 foot, so he's not that small. He's only
okay. So I thought he was shorter.
You can make that work. But that's one guy. I just trying to think who else. Not The Rock, unfortunately. Just no. I don't know, man.
You know who?
I'm trying to think who. Man, he's the only guy I can think of would be him right now. I'm just trying to think who. Like, it's gotta be someone. I think someone kind of unknown, to be honest with you. But because even Christian Bale, he wasn't a name.
Right.
When he got that part.
He was an indie movie guy.
Right. He was Robert Pattinson.
That's right. Exactly he was he did The Machinist.
And no one knew that.
And then he did
American Psycho, which is not a big film.
American Psycho. He did Equilibrium, for crying out loud, and that's it's a B-level action movie, but he was great in it.
No, he was always good, but he wasn't a name. He was
right. So
Michael
this movie
Michael Keaton was a name.
Right.
Clooney was a name. Val Kilmer was a name.
But he was such a dark horse candidate. Like, think about it. You're getting Beetlejuice, the guy who did Gung Ho, Beetlejuice, and Mr. Mom to be Batman. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
I know, and it worked. But he was a name.
Right. But he was a name, but he was a dark horse. So it's almost like as if getting unknown because people are already coming in with all this baggage against him, and he blew everybody away, which is great. But like that's what I'm saying. Like you can either countercast a guy you wouldn't expect to pull it off, or you get somebody who's been an indie darling, and now you're going to like go, all right, now it's your time to make that new movie. What are you going to do with that? So what is the question? Is like, who would you cast? Like, to me, for a long time, I always thought Colin Farrell would be a good Batman.
I love Colin Farrell,
but now that he's Penguin, I don't want him to
that's
double
not gonna
dip.
work. Yeah,
so I don't want. Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Damn, you're trying to think who could be a good Batman. I know people have mentioned John Hammond in past, but I'm not a fan of that.
No, but he's too old. We're getting somebody. You can't go younger than 32. 32 is the youngest you can cast Batman as.
Yeah, it has to be along those lines. I'm trying to think. Just what name comes to mind. I'm even looking online now. Let me see. Chris Pine, really? No, not Chris.
No,
Chris
he's too old. He's like late 40s at this point.
I don't think so.
No, too short.
To Chris Pratt, no. Matthew Goody. Oh, the guy from The Watchmen. Ozymandias. Maybe.
No, he's too old. He's too old now.
Chris Evans, really? No. Damon too old. Mark. Henry Golding. That's interesting. Henry Golding, if you from Snake Eyes. Bad movie, but The Gentleman, who's really good in Crazy Rich Asians. He's really good. He's got a great personality. He's got the look. He's a young, good-looking guy. I could see someone like him.
I could see him too, to be honest with you, because he's got the build. He's got that jawline. He knows he's got the fighting prowess and the experience.
Very charismatic and do that Bruce Wayne if needed. If that's the route they're gonna go. I could see that. That there you go. You know what? That's a name I can get behind. He's not really super famous. Yeah, he's known, but not,
right.
Michael Keaton or Val Kilmer level at the time anyway. But he's more along the lines of a Christian Bale at the time. Maybe a little bit higher than that, but around Martin Patterson, that kind of thing. I could see that.
And he's got that look at it. He can do that look in his face where he's like almost hyper focused, mad about it. Yeah. And that's what Batman needs. Batman's like that angry, hyper focused look.
Anger, and if they're gonna go with Bruce Wayne, he needs us. Kind of has that little persona as Bruce Wayne. You have to have it, right? But I think that would be probably right now. I'm sure I can think of someone else later, but that guy Goldie would probably be my first choice. If someone give me,
all right, I like that pick.
Yeah, I'm on.
I like that pick. I'm going to think about it, and I will answer when we give our Batman review. I will come in with my recommendation as well.
Spoiler review. I'm kind of curious to see.
Spoiler-filled review. It's going to be a mess.
There's a lot to talk about it in this film. They're really good, many good, but there's some whatever. I'm just so curious. Yeah, I can't wait to see the scene at the end. I just, oh my god.
I'm going to be hyper focused to find out what's going on with that.
We both had the same word, cringeworthy. It was really like, oh my god, it was pretty bad. It's almost like the studio just put it in there without Reeves knowing it. I'm sure that didn't happen. But
a cringeworthy allusion to another character.
This could have been an after credit scene, and then I would have bought the fact that someone else did the scene. Right. But it was still in the film. It was just at the end of the film, basically. So,
all right.
Oh my god! I just. You may like. I don't know. We hated it. I hated it. My friends who came with the first day, they didn't like it either. So I'm like, wow. We're like.
I genuinely hope I love it just to go against you and Pete, because those are my favorite arguments. I'd
be disappointed if you like that, because it's really bad. It's
even more.
I want to say something. I can't say because it might be a spoiler. So
don't say it. I don't want to know, because let me tell you something. Some of the best arguments we had was after Batman v Superman, when we're all ripping on it, and
Pete.
As a challenge, I forgot who said, can we all just try to find one thing we liked about the movie? And the best I could find for it was I never realized both Batman and Superman's mom was a Martha. Like, that was the best. And it is one of the worst parts of the movie. And that was the best I could find.
It's funny because it's just so ingrained, at least in my head, like, because they mentioned Martha here, right?
Okay.
In this movie, I'm like, oh my God, Martha, here we go. It's like, just waiting for Ben Affleck to pop out. Why'd you say that name? Because they do, and that's a real cool thing. Real quick, what they did with the parents is really good, and I've seen it in the comic books once or twice, I think. So you'll appreciate what they did with that part of the story. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no
all right
origin shit. That's
right, which is great.
just great, right?
Like,
just jumping in.
I like what they the fact that they told us right off the bat that they're doing to Batman what they did with Spider-Man.
Exactly.
She's gonna go in. He's
yeah,
already.
They reference it obviously because you have to. That's part of who he is, but it's not. Yeah, when they're not showing anything, none of that nonsense. But they do a story with Bruce Wayne and Martha. That's like, oh, I like that. That was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
I like that. So I just forgot to mention earlier. But anyway, so there's it is. 1 week and we'll do a spoiler review. I know Eric, you had a couple of days. You see Batman for yourself finally.
Well, I think we should do it early. I think we should record it Monday. Monday night we record it because it's gonna be we see it Sunday, record it Monday, knock it out because I'm gonna be in the zone. I don't want to wait. I want to get out there.
Down. You got it.
So there you go, guys. Tuesday, either Monday night, Tuesday we'll release, but we'll let you know about that. But guys, that has been the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate everyone tuning in, following. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, let people know about the show. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Give us your opinions, who you think should be the next Batman in the whatever Spider-Verse container is still left out there after Flashpoint. We'd love to hear that. Don't forget to check out all the original audio episodes on ericdasilva.com. All there in the landing page, all the original audio episodes before we came to the Latin Nerd Network, all here on YouTube, where we have shows like The Watch List and Thanos Choice, and of course, Nerdsplaining. Don't forget to buy my album, Adorably Offensive, on my website. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on Twitter. Once again, I've been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Hey. Boom.